Hi and good evening to THFC Till I Die, your home of Tottenham, past, present and future. Welcome to the Cockeral Clock podcast with myself, Dermot, aka Dermatron, and also Philip Brady, also the Irish Godfather or the Spurs Godfather, whatever he likes to take his pick. Do you know, this week's probably the Irish Godfather, next week it'd be the Spurs Godfather. And he's also managing director of Horses Heads, Iros, and also managing director of If You Get on These Nerves, He'll Make You Disappear. But apart from all of that, Philip, how are you this evening, sir?
Well, after that comment, I'm just looking to see you still there.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I hate these international weeks. I really do. I know we have internationals to look forward to, but I want the Spurs game at the weekend, you know. Yeah. And that's I withdraw. I see comments coming about withdrawal symptoms. That's what I have at the minute, you know.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, I'd rather be going to watch Tottenham than Stephen Kenny, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I think anybody would. But you know, yesterday was funny when I was in Dublin, in the pub I was in. The Sky Sports, for some reason, yesterday afternoon, showed nothing but brief highlights of all the Premiership games on rotation. Which means I saw the Spurs Burnley game 5 times.
I tell you one thing, Philip. I saw that pass by Porro, and
pass of the season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but anyway, welcome to the Cockeral Clock podcast. Comes every week. It's supposed to be every Friday at 9 o'clock, but because of issues last week and life issues and
everything, you know, so.
Yes.
Have you frozen, Dermot? I think Dermot's frozen. God, the weather 27 degrees outside and Dermot's frozen. Anyway, let's have a look and see who's in the chat. How's that going on? Wayne Bonner is saying, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well and surviving the heat. Yeah. It wasn't as hot with us today as yesterday, but I spent a good bit of yesterday in the car. And even coming back late last night, it was still almost 20 degrees. It was really, really warm, you know. And Rooty Toot is saying, big up all, getting withdrawal symptoms now with no Ange ball till the 16th of September. Rooty too, I just have to say in that, exactly the same. I think, I don't like these breaks, you know, when we're on a roll, international breaks do seem to break the momentum or break the cycle a bit. And knowing our luck, we'll have some players come back injured from international duty. And as long as it's not Romero or Mickey van de Ven or any of them, I won't worry too much. But yeah, it's just a worry that we get everybody back. I was just saying there, Dermot, the no Ange ball till the 16th. I worry about the international breaks that players come back injured. And we can't afford of any injuries just at this particular moment in time.
No, and I have put into a PDF, Philip, for later in the podcast. Now, I apologize. My computer seems to have at some point and comes up with a blue screen and it turns everything off. Now, it's not doing it as much as it used to. And it hasn't done it in a while now. Tonight, I don't know why. I'm just getting so
It's just
fed up
saying
with
that.
this.
It's just saying that it's 27 degrees outside and you were frozen.
Yeah, that's true. Just let it go, Philip. Let it go.
Yeah.
Right, there you
Oh
go.
no! I owe you big time on some of them. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah, I just don't know why it's doing it. It's getting really frustrating. So, yeah, I'm getting fed up with it. So, if anyone knows anything PC, please get in touch because I need your help. Yeah, look, Philip, for me, yeah, as I said, I'd rather be watching Ange Ball than Kenny Ball tomorrow and Sunday. I'm bringing a sleeping bag with me. I'm probably going to have a bit of a kip when I'm there on Sunday. To be fair,
Yeah,
watching.
bring a pair of mountaineering boots as well, won't you?
Yeah, well, I won't be up there for long, Philip. You know, because I'll be chasing Stephen Kenny up and down the touchline with a hammer in one hand and his P45 in the other. Just sign this piece of paper here. Huh?
You obviously haven't seen how far you are from the touchline, Dennis.
No, you're videoing me when I die when I get up there. Just put up in the channel. This is Dermot Dunn. What's his last breath?
Yeah,
Philip, you have the channel. Yeah, this will be now. Normally, this gets put up onto Spotify every week, and Dermot, being Dermot at the moment, has a memory of a goldfish. Now, Dermot can very much vouch for that. I mean, 100%. As you can hear in the background, she's agreeing with me. So I've forgotten the login details for our podcast on Spotify, so I have to do a new one. So this is now episode 1, #25. Will be going up tonight on Spotify. But we're setting up a whole new Spotify, aren't we, Philip? And we're going to get people to send in their requests for music to go onto our playlist as well. So we're going to have a THFC Till I Die playlist. Philip's going to put music. I'm going to pick mine. All the members pick yours. And the podcast will be going on there as well. So that will be going up tonight. After this has finished. We've got Wayne Bonner here, Philip. I don't care for international breaks. World Cups and Euro tournament, not a problem, but I like the football season to be a league season.
Yeah.
Philip, what was it like back in the 70s, 60s and 70s? Was there many international breaks? Was it just qualifiers for the World Cup and European Championships and that was it?
They used to play the matches. They play an international match on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night and get back to the league the following Saturday. That's the way they did it. There was no Sunday games to speak of before television came in. So it was pretty much as normal. There was no dedicated breaks. I don't know when that came in, but certainly in the 70s. Like, for example, remember the famous match England played against Poland and lost?
Yeah.
And didn't qualify for the 74 World Cup. That was played on a Wednesday night at Wembley Stadium and then back to the league the following weekend. So, and it mightn't be as easy to orchestrate now because of the distances some of the teams have to travel, like Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan and whatever. It'd be very unfortunate to come back and play at the weekend. But so I can see why they do it, but I don't agree with it. I'd rather get back to the league every Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. But what a week it's been, Philip. Just going through these last bit, Rooty Tooty. It's not even a proper international matches for England. The injury risk is a real worry. Glad Destiny got the fever after Burnley and will be staying safe at home. Yeah. Well, Philip, we might as well start on that before we do get on to the podcast and about the week we've had. These are the Tottenham players away on international duty. We have Mickey van der Ven with the Netherlands, Cristiano Romero with Argentina. To be fair, Philip, I'm surprised Mia's let him out of the dungeon. Or do you think? Or do you think he sent his double? A bit like Putin. Putin has loads of doubles in Russia. Do you reckon Romero has a few doubles?
Very possible. Very possible. Why would he want to leave Mia's dungeon?
Yeah. Now, Wales are very well represented by Tottenham. Ben Davies, Brennan Johnson and Joe Rodon, who used to be at Tottenham. We've got the Danish king, Højbjerg at Denmark. We've got Perisic at Croatia, Basuma at Mali. We're all over the place here. Richarlison, Brazil, and James Maddison, England. One player missing there, Philip. Who is it?
Well, let me see.
I know Sonny. I haven't done Sonny. Sonny's South Korea.
Sonny's playing for Korea against Wales, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got Kubaseski for Sweden, Solomon at Israel. Now, usually we would have a Harry Kane England.
Yeah.
Now, how weird do you think it'd be Harry Kane coming back to play for England, now playing in Germany, and meeting up with like James Maddison at Tottenham, and him telling him, "You shouldn't have gone, man. You should have stayed where you were."
Great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So look to him. I mean, to me, Harry Kane is Harry Kane. Thanks for the memory, Harry, but you're gone now. It's the future is more important than the past. So good luck.
And of course, we've got Gianluca Vicario for Italy and Papa Matassa for Senegal. So that's Chris Houghton. He manages Senegal, doesn't he?
No, Chris Houghton manages Ghana, I think.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana. Well, Philip, it is called What a Week at Spurs, and by Jesus, hasn't it been a week and a half with transfer windows, with players coming in and out, more players leaving today, and setting a record with only 3 other Premier League managers have done that. Glenn Hoddle, Conte, Redknapp, and somebody else winning 10 points out the first 4 matches. What's your thoughts on the week being last week at Spurs before this break, Philip? Has it highs and lows?
Okay, it's the last. If you include the Fulham game, that was a bit of a disaster. I think we made too many changes against a strong Fulham team. We shouldn't have made 9 changes. We paid the price. I know a lot of people, the non-Ange fans, were up in arms about it, saying he made a huge mistake, and he probably did. But I guarantee it's not a mistake he'll make again. But it's just unfortunate that it's cost us one of our 2 chances, well, 3 chances really, of silverware this season. So that was unfortunate. And then to go forward to Burnley, a difficult place to go. In the past, under Vincent Kompany, Burnley will try to play decent football, not like the Burnley team of old that clogged you out of the way. But we went up there, and after a bad start, literally took them apart. And the guy one of the commentators, I'm not quite sure who said it was, after the 5th goal, he said Spurs should get a hatful here. And my only disappointment is we didn't score after the 65th minute. We could have really put their noses in it by going for 7 or 8. But anyway, 5-2 was a great result, great performance. Some of the interchange and the passing. I mean, Pedro Porro with the pass with 2 assists, actually. Well, no, he 1.5 assists. The pass over the top for Son to make the goal with Maddison, with Solomon, was brilliant. But the pass for that Son hat-trick goal, I don't think we'll see a better through ball all season. It was amazing.
No, I don't think so.
And then Solomon came in and literally terrorized the Burnley defence. So it was a great week. A great week on Saturday. Buzzing since, really. And as I said earlier when you were away, it's a pity there's a break now because it's breaking the momentum.
I don't think it is. I don't agree with that, Philip.
But you're missing a week's training. You're missing a week's training. You're missing another week of him getting his ideas across. Most of the players are away on international duty. The ones that are left will benefit from it. But the ones, I think it can break the momentum. I hope it doesn't, but it can do.
I don't think it will, Philip. And look, for me, it's been a great week. I think the transfer, we're going to get on to the transfer window in a minute. That's something else completely. But for me, bad result for Fulham. Yeah, okay, 80% players, 20% on Postecoglou. He has to take some responsibility for the changes he's made. I understand why he made them changes, Philip. I do get it, but I think it was too much.
Maybe not as many. 9 was a bit many, I thought,
Yeah, but look, I understand why. And the point he made afterwards, Philip, was, when am I going to try these players out? We're not in Europe. So he doesn't trust them for the Premier League. So when does he play them? And
that's true. But it's just a pity we've lost the cup competition now so early in the season. That's the biggest drawback. If we won, there wouldn't have been a word about it.
Yeah, but that team should have been good enough to beat Fulham anyway, Philip. So it makes no difference, bones about it. They should have beaten Fulham. Philip, on the penalties, Sanchez taken one. None of the attackers like Højbjerg or players like that saying, no, I don't undertake one. Firstly, big up to Sanchez. The last thing he ever did with Tottenham was to miss a penalty because he's now buggered off. What's your thoughts on the players that didn't take one? And what's your thoughts on Sanchez, who did take one?
I mean, Sanchez showed, and for all his faults and all his shortcomings, Sanchez never ducked away from anything in his career at Tottenham. you know, he always stood up and be counted. And well, he wasn't always doing the right thing, and he was nicknamed Bambi on ice for a very good reason. But he showed the balls to take that penalty when other players shirked responsibility. And from that point of view, I don't know. It would worry me slightly. If I was Ange and I saw players not want to take a penalty, I'd say, hang on a bit. I'm going to have to look into this guy's character a little bit more, because he should have had the balls to take it. And if someone else had stood up and took it, we probably might have won the match. Simple as that, you know. So it's something I'm sure will not happen again, because I'm sure next time, there's going to be no penalty shootouts at least now until the FA Cup in the new year. But I think it will be ready for the next one if it does arise.
But does Højbjerg deserve a bit of a break, because he has been ever present, Philip? He has been the player that has got us out of a hole, and when we have played bad, he's been one of the few that have actually stood up. So do you give him a bit of leeway, or you don't give him any leeway whatsoever?
Well, I mean, for that, I think he should. He's a senior player in the club. He should have taken the penalty. Like he's more. Yeah. If you like, if he's more of a midfielder, he should be more qualified to take penalties than a defender. I know that that's not always the case, but I think he should have taken. I'm a little bit surprised that he lacked the bottle to take it, as other players did as well. So it's not only him.
Yeah. I like James Maddison penalty. He took a good one. But look, we shouldn't have gone out the League Cup anyway, Philip. I mean, to be fair, we should not. We should have won that game.
Many old Premiership ties were there in that round, 1 or 2, and we ended up getting one. You know, if we'd got Grimsby Town or Scunthorpe United, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. We're just unfortunate that we got one of the stronger teams that come into their ground at this stage.
Fulham are not a strong team, Philip. We should have beaten them.
No, a stronger team. I'm sorry. They were one of the stronger teams that came in at that stage of the competition, you know.
Do you feel, Philip, we had our chance? We didn't just take our chances, did we? We had chances to win that game. So, you know, to be fair.
Well, put it this, you know, I think we didn't take our chances, and that would have been duly noted and dealt with in the training session since by Ange. And I think we showed on Saturday that when we do take our chances, we take our chances. And we'll always get the odd game that doesn't happen, and Fulham was one of them.
We got big up to, I'm going to say big up to Neil Shafton, big up who's a member, and please pick up your memberships as well. Only $2.99 and $4.99, and I'm telling you, cheaper than Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, all the platforms you can watch all your programs. Just download MovieBox Pro and get a Chromecast, and the money you save, just pick up a membership. It does help us along the way. And if you do want to get ahead of everyone in the chat, you can make it into a super chat. It does help us grow, and it helps us get new equipment and better content for you people, because we don't get paid for this. We do this free, and we rely on you to help us on our way, like all the other Spurs channels do. So, and we want to give you the best content out there. We want to be the best channel going as we march on to 2K. So, any help, it is grateful. I hate begging. I feel like Oliver Twist, Philip, saying that with the little begging bowl.
The begging bowl up, please, sir. I want some more.
Yeah, and I know it's tough out there. We do. Me and Philip know, don't we, Philip? We know it's tough out there. It isn't easy for families. So, even if you put your question in, we will bring everyone's coming up, and we've always done that. But, you know, a little help goes a long way and making us to keep me and Philip doing what we enjoy doing. We love doing this. So big up to Neil Shafton, who's a member as well. Big up, Neil. We've got Swim Master. Do you think the manager should choose the penalties rather than ask for volunteers? Just a question on that, Philip. Did managers in the past, did the Brian Clough always pick the penalty takers? Or like a Brian Clough or Alex Ferguson, managers like that?
Well, it's hard to tell really when you're watching a thing on, who's doing what. But as far as I know, the 5 penalty takers have to be handed to the referee before taking them. He knows who the 5 are. And I could be wrong on that, but I always assume that they know who the 5 are, which means that Sanchez volunteered and the rest didn't. Now that if we'd have gone to 5 all, they would have come into play then and had to take one. But I think the manager should be choosing the penalty takers. I mean, they obviously practice them in training up to a point anyway. So he should know who the good penalty takers are. So that's a bit of a mystery now why that didn't happen against Fulham. If it did, why it happened the way it did.
Yeah, but how can you recreate that atmosphere, Philip, of a penalty shootout? I've seen like Ireland did it once with big noises of a crowd and booing and trying to put the players off. And how can you recreate that? Or is it just you can, and you just, if you got the bottle, you got the bottle to take one. If you haven't, you haven't.
Yeah, you can't recreate the atmosphere of the ground unless you
No.
have stereo system behind the goal blaring
Yeah.
it out at 500 megawatts or whatever. No, you just have to rely on practice, you know?
Mm.
Like the old thing, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. How do you score
Yeah.
penalties? Practice. That's the way it is, you know?
How do you get to be the Irish Tom Jones? Practice. I couldn't resist that one. That was like an open goal for me.
Yeah, just watch your back, son. Watch your back.
Come on, Philip. You've got to admit that was quick. That was a quick one from me.
I'll give you that. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That was
As
quick
I
for
always
me.
say, revenge will be swift and merciless.
Yeah. If you don't see me in the next stream, you know what Philip's done to me. He's taken me out to a field somewhere. Dig your own hole here, son. Right. Tail Cockeral. Evening, Dermot and Philip. Evening, Tail. I hope you're doing all right, sir. I love that name, Tail Cockeral. Sort of goes off the tongue a bit. We've got Leslie Crawford, Dennis Irwin. Man United in Ireland was a great penalty taker. Yeah, he was.
He was, yeah, good penalty.
Great play for Ireland.
Good lad,
and then we've got
nice
Neil.
Lad.
Yeah, Neil Shafton. These breaks. Look, are we past 15 minutes yet, Philip, on the stream?
Yeah, near enough.
Yeah, okay, I can swear now. These breaks fucked us up in the past 3 seasons. We've lost Romero, Bentancur, Ben Davis, Richarlison, just a few who returned from either qualifications or cup competitions, like the World Cup injured.
Yeah, that's the worry I have. That's a big worry. That's my big worry.
Yeah.
Especially Romero. Say Romero and Van de Ven got crocked in this international break. Where would we be? You know?
Relying on Eric Dyer and Phillips and...
No, I think we're going to have to call Eric Dyer, a bit like Harry Potter, he who should not be named.
Yeah, I don't think he's been... Look, we are going to get into the 25-man squad, and I don't think he's been named.
I've been searching for it. Has it been announced yet?
I've got all the information. I found the information tonight, Philip, so I got the information for that.
I couldn't find it earlier. That's why I was hoping it would be announced.
You know? So I will tell you... Sorry, I've got something in my eye. It's called Ange Ball. There you go. It's called Kenny Bald, which I'm not looking forward to watching. Oh God! Tomorrow I'm going on a rant about him tomorrow, Philip, and I'll build up to that Island game. I'm telling you that now. I've had enough of it. Yeah. How would now, Philip? Look, the transfer window's open. We've done our business. We've done all we can. How would you rate this transfer window? For me, Philip, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think we've done well at the beginning. We went a bit slow in the middle, and then we've done well at the end.
Yeah,
7 out of 10 for me. What about you?
I'm going to split it up into incomings and outgoings, because I think they're if you allow one to deduct from the other, it's going to give a false score. So I think incomings are going to give it an 8, because we brought in 7 players. Okay, I think we might be one central defender short. That's probably the biggest problem with that. Outgoings, I'm going to give it a 6, because well, we've got rid of Sanchez is gone, and Ndombele has gone on loan. We're still at the moment left with Eric Dyer and Hugo Lloris, and that's the reason I'm giving it a bit of a low score, because those 2 guys, being senior professionals, need to be kept away from the first team. We don't want them moaning about why they're not involved in the 25-man squad that's coming out whenever it does. And there could be a drain on the morale of the club if they're still there. Now, there's still time up to tomorrow. Is it tomorrow, the next day? What day is today? 6th, yeah. Tomorrow, the Saudi window closes. Maybe something miraculous will happen. They'll mix up Eric Dyer for Mo Salah and offer him 130 million for him. But Hugo Lloris, I think it will be let go as a free agent. I think they'll have to tear up his contract or cancel his contract by mutual consent, because Hugo Lloris won't even get a game. He's actually 4th choice goalkeeper now, I would class at Tottenham.
So why did he? Right, he was offered at Nice, Philip, First
Yeah.
team for number one. Why look? Is it all down to wages? What they're getting at Tottenham?
Well, I heard the offer that he was getting at Nice was maybe 2 million net. Okay, which is still what 80 grand a week.
Yeah,
still big bucks. I think Hugo's ambition to play in the Champions League is probably holding him back a little bit. Note to Hugo, you weren't playing it at Tottenham. Why do you think you're going to get it somewhere else? At 36 years of age or 37, he's not going to go as first choice to many clubs. So, if Saudi come in and give him a space in one of the clubs, fair enough. But if not, I would just pay him up for his contract and let him go, because you don't want him sitting on the bench. He's been too much of a good keeper for Spurs to go out with a whimper if he doesn't get a club over the next 24 hours. Eric Dyer, I just cannot figure that guy out at all. I just don't know what he's playing at.
I can.
I know it's money, but he's not going to be sitting on the bench picking up his wage packet every week.
Yeah.
He's not going to
Eric Dyer. Yeah, Eric Dyer's a muppet. That's what he is, an absolute fucking muppet. Why would you sit there, Philip? Right, you're a footballer. Say you're Eric Dyer, right? God forbid. Sorry to insult you, and I do apologise for insulting you.
I'll be hearing from my solicitor over that one. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, we will call you the player who should not be named, right?
Yeah,
a bit like Voldemort out of Harry Potter. Not saying you're Voldemort either, by the way, but I'm just using it as an
worse. Well, carry on.
That's true. You're getting 85 grand a week. What is going through your head, right? Your mind thinking, do you know what? I sit on my ass, do nothing, sit at home, I get paid 85 grand a week for doing nothing, or I'll try to be a footballer, go somewhere else and try to get my career back on track, but I get less money. So what's gone into his?
I mean, I don't know if he sits on his arse for the next 9 months, right, without playing a game, right, and expects to go to a decent standard of a club next summer when his contract expires. I've got news for you, son. Players that are playing will get new contracts with other clubs. Players that have been showing a complete lack of ambition, willing to sit there and vegetate for the next 9 months, be very, very hard for any club to take him on. I really cannot figure it out. He obviously has a huge, he has a much bigger opinion of himself than the rest of us have. He thinks he must be worth, maybe he's working out 85 times 52. That's what? 2 million quid, bit over 2 million quid. That I'm going to get that for doing absolutely. That's a perfect job for me. No work, get paid for it. But for a 29-year-old footballer, that does not strike well with me. I think he should be. No. He should have gone last week. He should have gone to. Though not that there was any offers in for him, I don't think. But he's another one. I think. Fulham did. Yeah, probably didn't think Fulham were good enough for him. I think he's another one we have to consider paying up his contract, because we're going to be paying him anyway till the end of the summer, and we get nothing for him. So might as well do it now and get him out of the club.
I don't care if we don't get anything from them. But let's see a few people in the chat have to say in this subject, Philip. We've got Michael McDonald. Big up, Michael. I'm still waiting for you to email me, sir, to get you on one of these podcasts. I really do want you on one of these podcasts with us, because we would love to. Me and Philip, as well as being massive Spurs fans, we're both massive Celtic fans as well, aren't we, Philip? We both always have been since I was being a wee kid. It's always been Tottenham Celtic for me. So we'd love to get you on one of these and actually talk about your national side as well, which we're going to talk more tomorrow about Scotland, who've had a tremendous start, Philip, in their European campaign. 4 wins out of 4 in their group. So, a lot of good things for Celtic and Scotland at the moment, Michael. But he says Kyogo is worth about 200 million at least. I do you know what, Philip? I would actually agree with that. 150 at least.
Rangers on Sunday, all right. Yeah. Well, I mean, no. To be honest with you, my opinion on these transfer fees. I don't think anybody is worth 200 million. Nobody. He's very valuable. He's probably the most valuable player in Scotland at the moment by a country mile. But 200 million. The old thing's going to be thrown at him. Has he proved it in the Premiership? No. So, a great player. I'd love to have him at Spurs, but I don't think we'll be paying 200 million for him.
I'm going to disagree with you on that point, Philip. You can only score goals you can only score goals the team who's in
Oh
front
yeah,
of
no,
you.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying nobody would pay 200 million
Mm.
without. I don't think so without a Premiership or some major league experience. You'd buy him certainly for 70 or 80 million, but not 200.
And I totally got his nationality wrong as well. It says my national side is Republic of Ireland, same as you ourselves. So I was jesting about Kyogo, lads. Right, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Got completely different. What do you think of Stephen Kenny then, Michael? Let us know. Should he be sacked or should he stay? And if you are, get me and Philip actually doing the watch along tomorrow night. So if you want to join us tomorrow night, me and Philip doing the Ireland France game or the build up to it, let us know. Email us and we'll get you on, man. I'd love to get this man on. I think we have great crack with this fella.
Yeah.
Totally got his nationality wrong. McDonald, you would think Scotland, wouldn't you, Philip? Or was I barking up a
Well,
wrong
yeah, it
tree?
could be. Yeah, and there's a lot of Irish McDonald's as well, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to insult you, by the way, or offend you. So if I have, I apologise. Neil Shafton, Headmaster Levy, having notes put on the players who were excluded from the list of 25, calling in the police to toss the contents of their lockers in the parking lot while evicting them. That's a good. Because Stephen Thomas, club's fault for offering sizable contracts. That's so very true, Philip. That hits the nail on the head for me.
Yeah, I suppose whenever they offered him the contract, he was probably a valuable enough player. But the contract offer, I remember there was supposed to be a new contract signed last season. That never came to anything. So
no,
it's his previous contract is the problem. But still, 85 grand a week's a lot of money. A lot of money.
Is. Can Voldemort play centre back? So you can.
Probably can. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a wonderful left foot.
Yeah. Jared O'Connor says, blame the club, not Dyer. I will blame Dyer. Gerard, and I tell you why I blame Dyer, not the club. Philip probably has a different view to me on this. How many points, Gerard, did he cost us last season? Example, Liverpool. How many times did he make a mistake that led to us conceding the goal? And the first thing he does is point to somebody else. It's his fault. It's his fault. Now, look, we're all guilty of making mistakes and sometimes not taking responsibility for a mistake. Something that was pointed out to me not so long ago, and it's probably one of my shortcomings. It's everyone's shortcomings, I think, but Eric Dyer has it in abundance. That I don't think it is the club's fault. Maybe it's the club's fault for offering the contract, but he goes out and he puts a shirt on and he has to do a job, Philip, and he doesn't do a job. And he hasn't done the job for 4 years. And I'm sick to death of Eric Dyer. Mourinho saying he'd be the best centre-back in the world. Was Mourinho on something that day? Or did he have too much whiskey? Or did Dyer pay him?
God knows.
You know, Dyer's complete fault. It's not the club's fault. It's Dyer's fault. That's my opinion. Philip, do you have a different opinion or do you agree with that?
It's probably the club's fault for giving them too big a contract to start with. It took the hunger off them a bit, you know, but it wasn't a club that turned down a move to Fulham. It wasn't a club that has made every intention to stay and fight for his place when he's been told he's no place in the squad. That would be enough for me to get on my bike. But I think Eric needs to sit down and have a good chat with himself and see where he's going, because he's going to be the forgotten man at the club. When the 25 squad is announced, he will not be honest and therefore cannot play. So,
no. And we've got Erwin here. Hi, Dermot and Philip. Chat. Hope all is good with you all. Yeah, I'm grand. Philip is grand. Stephen Kenny is somewhere hiding in Paris at the moment, figuring out if he can actually manage a side. These digs are going to be going till he goes, Philip, by the way. And then Neil Shafton. Yeah. Philip, do you want to read that last comment? Shall I bring that up or not? Don't read it out either. Just look at it. Do I bring it up?
No. I'll read out part of it. Have the Saudis offered 200 million for Salah yet? No, don't think so.
No.
The rest of it we'll just leave to one side for now. Nearly, we don't mind.
That would be after 11 o'clock podcast. That one.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Philip, what do you rate the window out of 10?
I say I'd give it an 8
off.
incoming and 6 outgoing. So that's an average of 7.
Yeah. For me, 7 and me 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a good window. Good to very good. Not an excellent, not a brilliant, a good to very good. But we got some of the deadwood out, so the club are going in the right direction. Myself.
Yeah.
Jared O'Connor says, is Dyer taking revenge on the club for dumping him from the panel boys? That is a very good point. Højbjerg has been dumped from it. Dyer thought he was going to be named captain.
Right.
Which he threw the biggest sulk ever. Is he taking revenge on the club? And if so, Philip, what should the club do about it?
It's a fairly radical way of taking revenge on a club. I mean, it's absolutely shooting yourself in not one foot but both feet. So no, I don't think so. I think that'd be absolutely stupid, really, to do that. But then again, people do stupid things, so we'll probably never ever know.
No offense to Eric Dyer, but I don't think he's the sharpest tool in the tube. He isn't the sharpest.
That's the problem. He is. He's one of the more intelligent footballers out there. He is. No, Eric Dyer has his head screwed on. That's why I'm so surprised he's taken this attitude. He is. No, Eric isn't one of these boys who can't put 2 words together. He's eloquent. He's a good talker. So.
Yeah. Well, look, he's not in the squad, and that's the main thing. No disrespect to Eric Dyer, but look, we bought him for 5 million, Philip. We can make a profit on him. We make a good 5 million profit if we sell him.
But we can't sell him now unless he goes to Saudi.
Well, we can in January.
Really,
no, he goes in January. No, he can sign a pre-contract.
He can talk to clubs abroad in January.
Michael McDonald. Yeah, Mike McDonald says, my national team is the Republic of Ireland. I was born in Scotland, and I'm 100% Celtic.
I think a lot of Celtic fans would support Ireland rather than Scotland.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of Northern Ireland Catholics, especially, don't support the Northern Ireland soccer team. They support us.
Somebody asked me this question the other day, Philip, and it got me thinking. Right, it's a bit off before we get on to our next comment, but somebody said to me, Dermot, do you hate do you hate the English or the French more because of what France did? But with England and I couldn't answer him. I said football reasons, probably yes. The history between us and England, there's a bit of niggle there. But do you know what I mean? How would you answer that question, Philip? Because I found it very hard to answer. I was a bit stumped by what I was asked.
Well, to be honest with you, I probably have a controversial answer to this one, right? I don't see how we can say we hate the English or we this, that, the English. When every Saturday religiously we're following their football teams.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, you think about it. It's hypocritical, really. I think
he was more talking about the national team. More like
I'm talking about England in general. Apologies to the French watching here, but the couple of times that I've been to France, I couldn't get out of it quick enough. Lovely place, all right, but the people are so unfriendly. And they're so unfriendly. And if they hear you speaking English, they can speak English, but won't. They won't speak English. And so I find, and plus Thierry Henry sort of put the icing on the cake for me with them, So I would not be a Francophile at all. If I had a choice, I'd pick England over France every time because I have more connections with England. More connections.
Yeah. Look, I look for me. Look, though I'm Irish, I was brought up in England. My parents got married there. Look, I spent time there as a kid, as well. So yeah, I don't mind that. It was a very weird question to be asked, and it was very sort of. It took me aback a bit because I was thinking, yeah, we do watch Tottenham. You are probably hypocritical if you say, yeah, I hate the English, but you support an English club. Yeah. Somebody said that to me a while ago. The French, yeah, I agree with you. The one thing I love about the French, they know how to protest. I'll give them that. I will give the French credit where credit's due. They know how. It's like us. We know how to protest as well as the French. But
Oh, I think they're better at it than we are. They do more
yeah,
of it. They're more practiced.
but I just find it very it's very hard in this day and age, Philip, to it just really threw me, and I just wanted to know what you thought on that.
No, I mean,
And I've seen
listen.
I've seen it
I lived
again
in
in it.
England.
Yeah,
Like you do. I lived in England for 10 years, right?
yeah,
I have relatives in England. I go to England frequently. You know, I mean, I have absolutely no problem. Absolutely
no,
no problem. I mean, what I like about England, you go over there and they speak the same language as we do most of the time.
yeah,
And you know, you can it's the same drive on the same side of the road, which is very
yeah.
which is very helpful when you get off the
Mm.
ferry and say, "Now, am I right or left?" You know, it's I don't have a problem at all. Whereas
No,
France, I do have a problem.
yeah. Do you know? It was a really. It just threw me that question, Philip, and it was.
Yeah.
It just really threw me, and I just couldn't believe somebody would actually ask that. Do you know what I mean? It's
Quite a
very.
logical question. It's quite a
It
logical
is,
question. Because let me
but
like I'll use the old comment, Dermot, for your long lost relation, Michael Collins, right? The day in 1923, whenever the Irish Republic was the British seceded control of Ireland
yeah,
at Dublin Castle,
mhm,
the what do you call it? The ceremony is supposed to start at 2 o'clock, say, right?
yeah,
Michael Collins breezed up in his car at 2:45. And the viceroy of England, the guy that was leaving the job, said, Mr. Collins, you're 45 minutes late. Well, how do you account for your time? He said, listen, son, he says, we've waited for 700 years for this day. He says, 45 minutes doesn't really count.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah. Look, and look, look, yeah. It was just a really weird question to ask, Philip. And you know me, I'm not that sort of person that I do you know, I'll give credit where credit's due. In England, the national side have done very well in international tournaments lately, better
yeah,
than us.
yeah.
But yeah, it's all banter,
I have
though.
to say, I was very disappointed England did not win the World Cup, because I would have looked at that stage, our team captain, the England captain is a
Yeah,
Spurs player. The
yeah.
honour that would have brought, you know, so that's
I know.
just it.
And the women would have done it before the men, so that would have been even funnier as well, because the men have tried for
Yeah, well,
years. The
that
women,
sounds funny. No, that would have been funny. That would have been
yeah.
funny. Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. Right, the men have tried since '66, haven't got anywhere. The women rock
yeah,
up, right, win the European Championships and get to a World Cup final. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
what's the men been doing for the last 50 years? But no, it was a very weird question. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it, Philip, because do
Yeah.
you feel, very quickly before we do um move on, do you feel there's still that a lot of bigotry or hatred still, or do you think that's gone now?
No, listen, it'll never go. I mean, I listened to a
Yeah,
program on the radio today. Anyone living on the border areas of Northern
yeah,
Ireland and in the north of Ireland, there's still an awful lot of dissent, and that will
yeah,
never go away. I know it's
yeah.
bubbling beneath the surface. It's peaceful now, and hopefully it stays that way. But no, there's some people to their dying day will never ever say a good word about England, and
No, I
it's
meant
just
on
the
the
way it
football
is.
side of it, Philip. I meant on the football side of it. Sorry, I didn't explain it. I meant on the
Oh,
football
sorry,
side
sorry.
of it.
On the football side, well, I mean, you know, I don't know.
There's always banter, though.
It's banter between football fans. And let's face it,
Yeah,
we might have banter, but we're all supporting different clubs in England
yeah,
or Scotland or wherever. And it's all banter, right? It really is.
yeah.
It's when it is political, and when Celtic plays Rangers, that's a political statement as much more as
It
a football
is
match.
more than
You know what I
anything.
mean? I mean, what do you call it? Mr. Mackay in that long, great TV series Porridge.
Mm.
Ronnie Barker comes out and he says, "Sex is only allowed in Glasgow when Rangers beat Celtic." You know,
Which isn't very often at the moment.
well, no, speaking on the Presbyterian side of things, it's only allowed
Yeah,
when Rangers beat Celtic. You know,
yeah.
which means it only happened once in the last couple of seasons.
There must be very yeah. Look, I could say something. I'm not going to. It's not
They
before
can
the
change the
auction.
subject now.
Yeah, but no, it was just a question that was asked, Philip, and as I said, it was just something. I wondered what you thought, your views on it. It was a
No,
very,
I'll give
for
my
me.
opinion. I'll give my opinion. I don't mean to need dwelling any longer. You know, we'll just keep
No,
going.
but I just thought it was a weird question to ask, and for
Yeah,
me, I just think
yeah,
it was not the right. We've got Ian Ferguson. Got to keep Evan Ferguson in the Irish kit for as long as. Yeah, Philip, you told
yeah.
me about this
That's a worry.
today.
But now I don't know how true this is. I haven't researched it, but
Mm.
apparently Evan Ferguson has been touted as moving over to England. The fact that he hasn't played enough internationals for us to mean he has to stay with us is a worry. Because look, it's happened with Grealish. It's happened with the other idiot that plays for Arsenal. So I don't want it to happen with Ferguson because technically, potentially, he could be the biggest of the three of them. And I hope that's true. The fact that he's not able to play this weekend, if he was able to play this weekend, that would push him over the limit. But he's injured. And I'm just beginning to wonder how convenient that injury is. Because, you know, it's a bit suspicious of that injury, to be honest, how real it is.
I don't want him to do it. I don't want to do it. We've got also, just very quick up, we've got Mia. Big up, Mia. She says, yes, Philip, can't watch our football and hate us. Everyone, please get over to Spurs between the lines and give your head a wobble, as Mia does every day when she sees Romero in the morning. She gives her head a wobble. We've got Michael.
Oops, she's gone again. Never mind. I'll keep
going.
No,
I'm back again. Again. Sorry. We've got Michael McDonald. Love the English. I'm not too keen on the British, though. Yeah, I get that. Eltel Cockeral said, if he continues in this path, I can't see him earning more than 40 grand a week. Therefore, it lowers the club or league that he joins or goes to. That's about Eric Dyer.
Yeah, 40 grand a year more.
Yeah, Stephen Thomas says the French are great with the rugby when the rugby is playing. Had brilliant times in Paris. Right, Philip, very quickly, are we doing the watch along to the Ireland rugby game Saturday? I think we are, aren't we?
Yeah, I might as well. Yeah.
Oh, and I think
it's on early. It's on fairly early.
Yeah, and we're also going to broadcast it live on our partners channel, FTS and Column. I haven't told Column this, but we will do. So that'd be our first joint broadcast. Looking forward to that. Ireland going to win the World Cup, Philip. We could be world champions. See, we're looking out for you. Is Stephen Kenny at your house or something? Are you hiding in there?
No. It's just something caught my eye going by the window there.
Was it a ghost?
No, and it wasn't a bird in the miniskirt either.
No, seriously, that happened. We were sitting in the sitting room one night, and I actually saw this white thing out the corner of my eye fly past in the room.
Oh boy.
It was actually, yeah, it's the weirdest thing ever. Erwin says, I think Evan Ferguson dad is in the chat. Hi, Ian Ferguson. Oh, yeah. There you go, Ian. Tell your son not to go. Tell him to stay at Ireland. Yeah, don't do it. We'll give you a free membership, Ian. If you tell your son to stay with us, we'll give you a free membership. And we've got Michael McDonald says, if you put the price of cheese up, the French will have a riot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. In Ferguson says, only time I root for France is when they play England, but then again, I root for almost anyone over England. Now, we're not going to... I think we did. I'm not going to read that comment because I think Mia has deleted him. Big up, Mia. It's from, have you read who it's from, by the way?
Yeah, so.
That is funny, though. I have to say, that is a good one.
Yeah.
That is a really good one. We've got, Michael says, bigotry and politics won't leave Glasgow as far as I can see, and I'm an optimist.
Yeah, Michael, can I ask you a question about the Celtic Rangers games? Is it still the fact that no away fans are allowed at the games? Is it just purely home fans, or do they allow so many in? I often wondered that. I didn't remember here there was a small amount of away fans left, but I couldn't hear any Celtic fans on Sunday there. Maybe you could answer that one for me.
Yeah. And then we've got Mia says, hi, Cockeral. And she says, no, to Ferguson. Come to us. We are better. Mia, he's staying with us.
Back off.
Sorry, Mia. Back off. You've got enough of our players now, Mia. Do you know? Just back off now. Leave our Fergie alone. He's our next Robbie Keane. Now, Philip, can Ashley Phillips fill the void left by Sanchez? For me, yes, he can. And that's a one-word answer for me. I think he can.
I think so. And also, the young lad Dorrington from the under-21s, apparently he's coming up in leaps and bounds as well. Yeah, I mean, I did think I was a bit worried when Sanchez left. I would have, in the way of the two of them, Dyer and Sanchez, I'd rather it was Dyer that was gone. Sanchez remained, but that's not the way it's going to be. In fact, I was telling you earlier, Dermot, there's rumours now that there's a big rift in Galatasaray already, because whatever contract Sanchez has gone in on, he's earning, say, 3 million a year, whereas the two centre backs he's playing alongside, one is earning 1.5 million a year, and the other one's earning 800 grand. So there's obviously a little bit of how will I put jealousy or whatever wanting there on the fact that Sanchez has got much more money than him. But anyway, can he fill the void? Yes, I think he can. I think we wouldn't have bought him if he didn't have potential. And like at the moment, our centre-back pairing of Van der Ven and Romero is rock solid and very, very good. So I'm just hoping that we don't get any major injuries. And that's why I'm so worried about this international break. Well, I think, yes, Phillips can do it. And then Dorrington as well, if needs be. So we might have saved ourselves a lot of money there. Rather than
I think so too, Philip. I agree with everything you say. There's really not much I can add to it. I totally agree with everything you say. I think he can do a job. He seems eager. He seems very level-headed young man, a bit like Brendan Johnson as well, very humble and very humble and very, eager to please and Postecoglou and do what he wants. And that's all you want from a player that will come in. Look, Dave said last night in the fan show, and I sort of agree with him, we should have bought two centre-backs that are ready to go. We've got one, we should have got another. But I suppose we're getting Phillips, I think it's a good call, but maybe we're a little bit, we should have tried harder to get that second centre-back in that's ready to go. Would you agree with
possibly.
that or not?
I think we should have. Yeah, possibly should have. But then again, look at the criticism Van der Ven took before anybody has seen him play, and look what he's done. So, let's give the scouts and let's give the statistics guys more credit than maybe we have been giving them. They know these fellas. They've watched them. They know their capabilities. And I think Phillips, I don't know why. When I look at him, I think there's two people I think he reminds me of. There's one, Nathan Ake of Man City, the way his hair, but he's just got the gimp of a Virgil van Dijk about him.
Do you know what? I thought the same thing, Philip. That there is that sort of, there's something about him. Do you know what I mean? There's, I don't know, can't put my finger on it, but there's something about this young lad that I think he's going to be very special. He's going to be a player for us.
Let's also give credit to Paratici, who I think is behind an awful lot of these signings. And he hasn't come up with a good one yet this season. So let's hope that continues.
This is a Paratici team, Philip, that we're playing with now. This is a full Paratici team. And it makes me wonder, Philip, why Conte just couldn't get this squad going.
Because Conte thought he was doing Spurs a favour, basically, by coming to us. And never really invested in the job. I think or if he did, he certainly, his way of thinking and playing football was totally alien to what we've been used to in the past. And look at Basuma, for example. Basuma was a shadow of a player last season. Look at him now when he's playing in the right position. Best midfielder in the Premiership by a mile. Best defensive midfielder. So it's a lot. I blame Conte for an awful lot of things for last season.
Yeah.
Really do.
I would look. We will do a podcast on the last few managers, Philip, and where we're going to rate them. And I think that would be a good podcast to see where did it all go wrong for Tottenham for the last 4 years. Who's at fault? Is it Levy? Is it the managers? Is it the players? Is it a combination? I think that is a podcast that you could do a good podcast on that, Philip. Who's to blame for the mess we were in? I think Angie's taking us out of this mess now, and you see how we're playing this season. Best start. But mind you, we had a good start to last season, the best start since 63-64 season. And look, it just tapered off.
The difference this season, Dermot, is if you notice the interaction of the players when we score a goal, the joy on those guys' faces. That wasn't there last season.
No.
When we scored a goal, it was, put the high five and away you went. But some exceptions, all right. But there's just a team spirit there now that Angie's, they all seem to be rooting for each other and they die for each other. Under Conte, I don't think that was going to happen,
No.
That's a very
Jared
interesting
O'Connor.
comment. Let's put up.
Yeah, Jared O'Connor. 700 tickets were offered to Celtic. Celtic said no, thanks. Thanks, no thanks on safety grounds for Celtic fans. I actually,
I agree with that.
that says it
I've
all.
been to an Old Firm game, right? I've been, and that's a good 20 years ago. But I remember we got to the ground early, and it was at Celtic Park, and the Rangers team arrived in the bus, right? Now, it was a young Rangers team at the time, and they literally, the fear in those guys' eyes getting off that bus because of the abuse they were taking from the Celtic fans. And Celtic won that game 4-0. So I can understand that those guys, we think about Catholics and Protestants in Belfast, that's trotting after the Celtic and Rangers fans in Glasgow. Yeah. There's open warfare goes on there. It would go on there if it was allowed. They really, really hate each other.
Yeah, it is. Michael McDonald says the Huns started it, Phil. We won too many games at the Govan shipyard with fans. Now we are winning without any fans, and that's the way to look at it, really.
That's what it is, yeah.
Evening, Mia, how are you?
Whenever Celtic scored on Sunday, it was complete silence. It was just like it was like being in a morgue. There was nothing at all.
It was great, Philip. What a great weekend. Celtic winning, Tottenham winning. What more could we wish for? Leslie Crawford, who's won more league titles, Rangers or Celtic?
Oh, let Michael.
You know what? I don't. I'm going to have a.
It can't be too. I'll look it up here. It can't be too much in it now.
I'm just going to do it now. Just keep talking there for a minute there.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's not too many apart. I'm just going to league titles. Titles. No. It's Rangers 55 and Celtic 53.
Yeah.
Only 2 in it. Yeah.
2 in it.
And Aberdeen.
4.
Have won 4. The next right. One is 4.
I look. I'm actually gonna. This is true as God now, right? Hang on. From 90, I'm gonna take this now from. Right. From the last time any team by Rangers or Celtic won a league, right, was Aberdeen the way back of 1984 to 85.
Alex Ferguson. Right? Alex Ferguson was the manager.
Then it was
40 years. Almost 40 years.
Celtic Rangers then won 9 in a row. Celtic Rangers, Celtic Rangers, Celtic Rangers, Celtic Rangers, Celtic. Do you know what? Since 2011, 2012, Philip, up to 21-22, apart from 2021, Celtic have won every league since then, bar one.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, Aberdeen were runners up for a few times, but Rangers were thing. But yeah, 55 for Rangers, 53 for Celtic, 4 for Aberdeen, 4 for Hearts, 4 for Hibernian, 2 for Dumbarton, and then all the rest, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, all got 1. And then the last team to win the league in 1903 and 1904 was 3rd Lanark. They won 1 league title.
They're not even going now. They're defunct, I think.
No. And then by city or town, Glasgow has won 109 championships. Out of Edinburgh 8, Aberdeen 4, Dumbarton 2, Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 1. I mean that's
Rig Rose haven't won it yet. No, Rig Rose. They're the next one's going to win it.
That for me,
the league, actually, they're top of the Division 2, I think.
Yeah, that for me, Philip, is just that shows how
2-horse race.
Yeah, it's the Scottish League that bad, or is Rangers and Celtic that good?
Well, I mean, Rangers, like everybody, most fans and Rangers in Scotland would gravitate to one or the other, really. Aberdeen have a big fan base. Hearts and Hibs have as well. After that, most of the clubs are fairly small base, so it's tough. It's tough.
And then we've got Michael said, I can assure you one thing: Celtic have won the European Cup, and the Huns will never. That is for sure. Back in 1967, did they beat Inter Milan? Didn't they? Or was
They
it AC
beat
Milan?
Inter Milan 2-1 in Lisbon.
Yeah.
A good story about that one as well is that Celtic took X number of thousand fans down to Lisbon for the game. And it wasn't as easy to travel in those days because there wasn't as much air travel as whatever, you know. And after the game, the Portuguese police just wanted to round up the Celtic fans and get them out of the place. So they bring them to the airport, pile them onto planes and fly them home, you know. And one boy got back to Glasgow, rolled into the wife and said, "Gee, we won. And she says, "Where's the car?" He'd driven down to Lisbon and flown home. The car was still in Lisbon.
Now, do you want the Neil Shafton one, Philip? Do you want to bring that up or try to answer it without me bringing it up? Or do I bring it up?
No, I'll tell you what, it is a religious thing in Glasgow. It really is.
Do I bring the comment up, though? No?
Yeah, you bring it up, yeah. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. Neil, I'll just try to explain this. Rangers are completely Protestant. In fact, up to the mid-90s, they allowed Mo Johnson was the first Catholic ever to sign for Rangers. That shows you how one-sided they were. Whereas Celtic, players from all religions played for Celtic religiously down through the years. So the fan base, I'm not saying the fan base for Celtic is completely Catholic. I'd say there's a lot. It's very mixed, but I would almost certainly say the fan base for Rangers is nearly entirely Protestant.
Yeah,
and that's where probably the difference is.
Who is the manager to sign the first Celtic player for Rangers?
Graham Souness. Yeah, he broke the mold, and that did not go down very well with a lot of Rangers fans.
No, it didn't.
You know, it didn't go down. Like I think in this day and age now, things will be a little bit easier. But back in the 80s and 90s, when things were still fairly bad in Northern Ireland, and that had a knock-on effect in Glasgow because Glasgow has such a connection with Ireland and the northern part of Ireland. So. Mo Johnson came, and eventually he was accepted by the Rangers fans. But I think it's something that's never going to go away, and it's probably one of the. Like I know we talk about Man United and City and Spurs and Arsenal and Liverpool and Everton, but to me, the greatest derby in the world is Celtic and Rangers.
Yeah, it is.
Because you'll never ever get the passion that's shown at those games every single time. You know?
Dude, as Rangers fans told me. We were talking about Rangers Celtic, and then over the years, and I know a Rangers fan, very nice fella, and he's very complimentary of Celtic as well. By the way, how he loves how Andrew was playing with Celtic, and he said, "I wish he was manager of us," which is a great compliment from the thing. And he was saying to me, he was saying to me, Philip, that Graham Souness laid the foundations for the Rangers' domination of the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah.
And he wasn't given
Rangers.
Yeah, and he wasn't given the credit that he deserved. That very quickly, Graham Souness as a manager managed Rangers, Liverpool, and Blackburn and Newcastle. A brilliant player in his day, Philip, for Liverpool and Juventus. A brilliant player in his day. Do you think? Do you think he was he ever given the credit for the management that he probably deserves? Because he was quite successful in Turkey, England, Scotland.
Yeah, I think he probably has been given the recognition he deserves. Yeah, I think he probably has, you know. Like, I mean, I know the fact he left Spurs in 1974 under a cloud kind of always leads me to believe he never has a decent word to say about Spurs. But no, in all fairness, he did well. He had a good career. And thankfully now he's gone off Sky Sports, so we don't have to listen to him anymore. But, you know, fair dues what he did.
I loved listening to him. I do. When he did the podcast with Simon Jordan, and even on Sky Sports, if Tottenham played well, he always put up Tottenham. He was always, like, one time he said he always brought back to Bill Nick and being at Spurs, and he had very complimentary things to say about Jack Charlton as well for saving his career. And when he was at Sunderland, and do you know? Do you think older players are better? They should be more older players on Sky instead of these young ones, Philip, that have done it in the 80s and 70s. Maybe they've got the better ones to talk about football then, like a Jamie Redknapp and players like that.
Well, I think they should be replaced by younger ones. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is, do you think, like the players like Graham Souness, Kenny Dalglish, Paul Miller, Graham Roberts, that have been there and done it in the 70s and 80s, should they be used more on Sky Sports than the likes of a Jamie Redknapp or
Well,
or
Jimmy
whatever.
Redknapp isn't that far behind them age-wise, but I think what they're trying to do now, they're trying to go back to a younger version of players that have just retired, like Michael Dawson and Micah Richards. That seems to be and Clinton Morrison. That seems to be the age limit they're heading for now. The likes of Souness now is retired. He's gone.
Yeah.
And you find some of the other, like there's one player I wish would retire, but they keep bringing him in. There's Paul Merson. You know, he should be gone long ago.
Please,
you know?
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to go for the more younger players who probably feel can identify more with the players of the present generation. You know.
Michael said, "MJ, that's the first time I've ever heard you swear, Phil."
Oh, right, okay.
Wash your mouth out with soap and water. Jared Connors, did Souness do it as he was married to an Irish woman at a time? I think his new wife's from Dublin, if I'm right. I think Graham Souness' second wife's actually Irish.
Is she? I don't know.
Yeah, she's from Dublin. I think she's from Killarney. Killarney, I think.
Killarney,
yeah. She's around that area. We've got Jared says, was Souness in charge of time? Oh yeah, was Souness in charge at the time? Rangers were doing petrol station payments to players and agents.
Taking a leaf out of Brian Clough's book, were they? Yeah, quite possibly. I have to say, I don't know enough about that particular to comment on it, but it wouldn't surprise me because a lot of things went on in the 90s it shouldn't have done.
Yeah. Souness was crying his eyes out when Jack Charlton passed. Yeah, I think we all were.
Yeah. I think we all were, not just Souness. I think we were all crying their eyes out.
Do you know what? The day that news broke, it felt the whole country went into 3 days or 4 days of national mourning.
Yeah, it did.
And a bit more about Big Jack tomorrow because that's my childhood. Jack Charlton is my childhood and my young teenage years in one fell swoop. Euro 88 as a kid, 1990 as a young teenager, 94, and then 2002. I mean, I know Jack wasn't in charge, but all that it was partly his team that actually was at the Mick McCarthy was manager, played under Jack Charlton. So great times, great things. Michael McDonald, respect. And then speaking of retiring, James Milner has retired. Isn't he like 50?
He's still playing for Brighton. He's not. He's 30, late 30s as far as I know.
Well, apparently he's retiring.
Is he?
Yeah. So Neil's saying.
No, I think he's kind of saying, isn't he like 50? He only signed a contract with Brighton there a couple of months back.
All right.
I looked that up now, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think speaking of retiring, is he not too old? Should he be retiring? You know.
All right. Sorry, maybe I read that wrong. Just very quickly, Philip, as we near the end of this, we've done the Hugo thing. I think about should he leave as a free agent. I think we covered that subject. Now, who will be missing from the Spurs 25 Premier League squad, Philip? So this is the what I found on it. Ange Postecoglou's 25-man Premier League squad dilemma. Once Tottenham have concluded their summer transfer business, Ange Postecoglou and the club will have to submit a 25-man squad to the Premier League by 2 p.m. on Wednesday, the 13th of September. As ever, clubs cannot name more than 70 non-homegrown players on their list, and the remainder of the squad, up to a total of 25 players, must be homegrown. All teams are also able to name players 21 and under on the under 21 list, which frees up space in their 25-man squad. In the process, for the 23-24 season campaign, under 21 players will have to be born on or after January 1st, 2002 to make the list. Does that make it any clearer to you, Philip? Because I'm a bit confused by that.
It kind of does. We have to have at least 8 homegrown players, right?
Yeah.
But this thing about under 21s and stuff that confuses me a little bit, you know. So I'm not even going to attempt to work out the mechanics of that squad. But I think we all need to know who's not going to be on it. And I think we can take it that Hugo Lloris will still be on it. And I think, what do you call him? Eric Dyer won't be on us. Now, who else is not going to make it? Who knows? And Ndombele's gone. Sanchez is gone. In fact, I see that Pat Toby fellow, what do you call him? He went
Yeah,
to
he left
in
today.
Switzerland.
Actually, that
Yeah.
I've actually got that just to finish off with. He's gone to Grasshoppers, Philip, on a prominent deal. So he's gone now. What about Brian Hill?
Oh God, I don't know what the story of Brian Hill's going to be. I really don't know. He's with us. He's not going anywhere. Whether he's going to be in the squad, it'll be very, very interesting to see what goes on. You know.
And
could you bring up Neil Safton's comment there, Dermot? I want to just tell him he's got it the wrong way around there.
Which one? The Milner one. That one there.
McGuigan. That one there.
Oh yeah.
Neil, you're nearly right. It was the other way around. I actually lived next door to Barry McGuigan's brother. Sorry, not Barry McGuigan's family when I worked in Monaghan. And Barry actually married a Protestant. So, and had a tragic loss. His daughter died there a couple of years ago. She still hasn't got over. But Barry McGuigan, absolute gentleman.
I do you know what? I saw him once in Mullingar after he won the world title in 1985. And my dad took me to Tullamore to come to a big hotel, and there was Barry McGuigan. It was like, I was only 7 at the time. And I was like looking at this thing with googly eyes, wow.
Barry really, Barry comes from Clonus, which is right on the border with Northern Ireland. And that's where I worked. And Leslie's dead on what he's saying there. Barry brought fans on both sides of the divide together. Then the night Barry McGuigan won the title at the QPR Stadium, apparently the Diamond in Clonus was literally like a 24-hour party. Every side, every religion there was dancing and kissing and hugging and drinking together. It was probably the most together night Clonus has ever had. Barry McGuigan.
I tell you one thing, Philip. I wouldn't mind doing a stream, actually doing that fight. Actually, to be fair, do you know that McGuigan fight?
Yeah. Oh, sure. We were all completely on tenterhooks that night. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
And Leslie was there.
Barry McGuigan wasn't even the best boxer in his family. Barry's brother was a better boxer.
Yeah, he was. And Leslie was there. He says, I was at Loftus Road when he won the world title. So, wow.
Yeah.
I think half of Ireland came over back in 1985. Des Lynam was presenting it, and I forget who was doing the commentating. Oh, what was his name?
Was it not the guy who did the box? Harry Carpenter.
Harry Carpenter. Yeah. Now he was the boxing commentator of my childhood. Harry Carpenter.
Yeah.
Him and Frank Bruno together were so funny. It was a bit like Murray Walker and Nigel Mansell and Damon Hill. Them two together were good comedy. We've got Barry's trainer Barney Eastwood lived near me.
Remember the song Dermot Morgan? Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Eastwood. Yeah, they had a big falling out though, Barney Eastwood himself.
And so did and then years and years later, it repeated itself. Brian McGuigan had a massive falling out with his boxer for the same reasons.
Carl Frampton, yeah.
Same reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, yes, it was not widely known over here, but we don't have the history of. Do you want to read that there, Philip? Sorry.
We don't have a history of sectarianism here. Well, true enough, like America's such a diverse religious spectrum. I'm sure there is divisions, all right, but it wouldn't be to the same level that we have over here, and in certain other parts of Europe as well.
Anyway, listen, we're going to end off this podcast here, Philip. It's been a good one. I've enjoyed this podcast.
It's been very varied. Like we've moved a lot of subjects on, you know.
Yeah, which is how I like these podcasts to go. Now, this podcast will be up on our new channel on Spotify. If not tonight, then first thing in the morning. I've got to do it all. Me and Philip, we're back tomorrow at 4, aren't we, Philip? With the build up to the Ireland game, and we're going to look at all the internationals, aren't we, at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, we're going to do a review of the various internationals over the weekend, and also we're going to predict the score of the France-Ireland game, and I hope it doesn't turn into a rugby score.
Yeah. And also, Philip, tomorrow night we're doing a watch-along to it for our sins.
Yeah, that'll be from behind the couch.
Yeah, I know you have to be away to go and do your call your legs 11 and number 33. and
Yeah,
everything
I'm
else
just
that
watching
goes
them
with.
come into the place now. So look, I've only got 50 yards to go to it, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Now, can I just put one thing straight here, right? Philip does not go and do an Irish Tom Jones. I want to put this straight now. I really do. I think he deserves now this. It's a joke between me and Philip that's been going on for a long time, this bit of ribbon, hasn't it? Philip goes on a
Yeah.
Wednesday night, do the call bingo for the elderly people in his area. And he talks to a certain lady there who worked at Tottenham as a ticket lady,
Yeah.
was she?
She
Now,
worked.
do you
No,
want
she
to
worked.
tell?
She worked in the away end. She worked as a
Yeah,
sort of a supervisor for the
yeah.
stewards in the away end at White Hart Lane.
And you told me she knows more about Tottenham than you do, which is
She
really
does. Oh
surprising
yeah.
to me.
I mean, I go in there. I meet up with her, and I go up now and talk to her. I haven't
Mm,
seen her for a couple of weeks. I wasn't there last week, and I'll hear all the news that I don't know about from Tottenham
yeah,
because she's family living over there, and she's in touch with them all the time.
yeah. So can I just put one thing straight here? He doesn't do Tom Jones on the Wednesday. He does it on the Tuesday in Dublin. So there you go. I just wanted to get that straight now and get that sort of cleared up, right? He's Freddie
Yeah,
Mercury next week. Apparently, he's getting his leotard ready and his long hair and his moustache all ready, and so ready for the bit of another one bites the dust, which Philip probably going to send to me.
Talking of which, shut up now. You'll be the next one to bite the dust.
That's what you get in this channel. A load of nonsense out of me and sensible talk out of Philip and nonsense out of me. It works. It works. Listen, thank you all for watching. Please hit that like button and subscription button as well. Pick up your memberships. We are back tomorrow at 4, and we're back tomorrow night with a watch along. And then, Philip, what we got? We got the podcast back again Friday at 9, I think. Saturday, what we're doing Saturday? We're doing the rugby Saturday.
We're going to do the rugby Saturday morning, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, we might do a bit of the, might do an international around the grounds. Actually, there'll be some international games, and of course, me and Philip. Yeah, and me and Philip, of course, are at the Ireland game Sunday. We may go live actually at halftime at that game. If I'm not half dead by walking up the mountain, and
I think I was able to get a Wi-Fi signal where we were sitting, so we're high enough up anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah. So watch that space. You may video me running after Stephen Kenny, up and down the touchline.
You'd be parachuting down to him.
Do you remember the last time I went with Dave very quickly, Philip, and we were playing Norway? Right. It really was the most boringest game ever. And Doherty was wearing gloves, right? And I'm giving him pelters. The only player on the pitch wearing gloves, right? And I'm giving him pelters for it. So he's coming up to a corner. I'm saying, take your gloves off, for God's sake, you wimp. And he looked straight at me, no word of a lie, right? Took the corner and just ran off. There was this fella, right, in front of us. He was a big fella, right? Big. He really was a big fella. Decided to try to do a pitch invasion. Well, he fell over the hoarding, right? There was 2 security guards next to him. One of them looked at each other. One of them belly flopped on the fellers on the floor. Before you know it, there's about 5 or 6, right, all on top of this fella, right? They're taking them away. And there was people where we were sitting, the posh seats, by the way, on the upper stand, right? We're chucking paper airplanes at him. It was the most funniest thing, Philip, I've ever seen in my life. I just could not stop laughing. It was blooming hilariously funny.
Right. Oh, no.
But it was, so I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game. We should beat the Dutch and we should beat the French. And Dave was just fell onto the floor laughing.
What are you on? We should beat the French and should beat the Dutch.
I'm deluded. You know I'm deluded. Do you know?
I think you were that bad.
I am.
I knew you were deluded. Jesus, that's going to another extreme.
Dave was checking me into the deluded bin after.
He's just so confident about teams winning over the next 2 matches,
If we Philip, if we get a draw in France and beat the Dutch, right, I want an apology from you Monday when we do the 4 o'clock show.
You won't be getting it, but I appreciate the effort. Just telling you that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. Philip's looking right. And just very quickly before we let Mr. Brady go, we are sponsored, of course, by the one and only. Where is it? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? There we go. We are. Just every time I look at that picture, it gives me the frights. If you want to look like Donald Trump, please go over to America. Can you say something here, Philip? Because I don't know what to say anymore now.
I'll give you something to say.
But anyway, so Mugshots Are Us have sponsored this stream.
I was going to say the only thing about that picture is that the colour of his face might soon match his jumpsuit he'll be wearing.
Yeah. And this is Donald Trump when he wakes up first thing in the morning. Anyone on Spotify, if you are wondering what we're laughing at, do look at it on YouTube where you can find us and you will see at the end. Yeah. So anyway, last thing, Philip, what's Fred up to tonight?
What's Fred up to tonight? You see Stephen Kenny when he heard that Evan Ferguson wasn't available for the 2 matches.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen Kenny hears that I'm after him after the Dutch game on Sunday. I am going to put it out there, Philip, before we go. What the hell is his wife thinking? She just sits there and watches him.
Probably glad to get rid of him.
Whatever you do, please hit that like button and subscription button. We are back tomorrow at 4 with the build up to all the international games tomorrow night. Whatever you do, thank you for watching. God bless. Take care. Come on, you Spurs. In the Irish Tom Jones we trust.